I want to welcome you back to the David Pakman Show. I am Jesse Dollemore, filling in for David while he is out, hopefully resting and relaxing this week. Let's talk about Kevin McCarthy. Let's talk about Congress in general and the budget battle that we're facing and the debt ceiling battle that we're facing. We can set aside the fact that Republicans approved the debt ceiling fight. They went through it and they approved a debt ceiling increase for 3 times under Donald Trump, when Donald Trump was president. 3 times. No problem. Oh yeah, it's not a big deal. It's the responsible thing to do when there's a Republican in office. But when a Democrat is in office, then we're going to shut down the government if you don't bend and bow to our demands. Again, because it's not about governance. It's not about what's best for the full faith and credit of the United States of America. It's not about any of that. It's about scoring political points. It's about chaos in the system. And Kevin McCarthy was just at the White House and had a meeting with Joe Biden. He comes out of the meeting and is peppered with questions for several minutes by reporters. And there's one question in particular that I really want to hone in on because, one, Kevin McCarthy is woefully inadequately suited for this job. He's not real bright. He's not very articulate. And he just generally kind of fumbles around in the dark for an answer. The second clip will really illustrate that. But let's start with this first question. I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear the audio, so I'll ask the question, then you'll be able to piece it together when you hear the reporter ask it. It's, what credibility do conservatives and Republicans have when they talk about reducing the debt and deficits, when in the previous administration, when Republicans had control of both the White House and Congress, they ran up the bill? And there's no way to disagree with the premise of this question. This is fact. When Republicans have been in office, they run away. Deficits go crazy. The national debt soars. Now, these are metrics that you can argue whether they're important or not. I don't generally think a large national debt makes that much difference. But we'll just set that aside. The fact of the matter is, Donald Trump, with his irresponsible, unpaid-for tax cuts, wasn't able to fund the government and all the spending that needed to be done. And his tax cuts resulted in, they were promised that they would be paid for. They promised it would spark the economy so much that it would just be cash hand over fist into the Treasury. The fact of the matter, the data, the actual reality is that there were $1 trillion and $1.5 trillion deficits, 1,000 billion dollar deficits, and $1,500 billion deficits every year of Donald Trump's presidency, making it so that Donald Trump is responsible personally, as his administration, for 25% of our overall national debt. And the goof was only in office for 4 years. It pales in comparison. It makes Reagan's administration and the wild, rampant spending look like child's play. But let's get to this question from the reporter and listen to Kevin McCarthy's answer, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Mr. Speaker, what credibility do conservatives and Republicans have when they talk about reducing debt deficits?
That's a great question.
Previous administrations, when Republicans had control of both the White House and Congress, ran up the bill.
Okay, let's just go by the sheer facts and figures, all right? So Republicans were in the majority for 8 years, and then the Democrats came in the majority for the last 4 years. So in the last 4 years, the Democrats have increased discretionary spending by 30%, over $400 billion. When the Republicans were in majority twice that long, the discretionary spending didn't go up $1, it went down $10 billion. So I think that the credibility lasts easily with the Republicans. If you want to argue about from a place where the past president, if you continue down the same path, this presidency will spend and put us in debt much greater than before. So look, I'm not in a place that I'm going to point fingers. I'm in a place of being the Speaker of the House. My role right now is to make sure we have a sensible, responsible ability to raise the debt ceiling, but not continue this runaway spending. This is a moment in time that for all American households, every family does this, every business does this, every state government, every county government. When they have spent too much, they rein back, look where waste is at, look where investments would be better, and sit down and talk in an adult fashion. That's the conversation I just had with the president, and that's the conversation I want to continue so we can come to an agreement.
Why didn't you have those conversations while Donald Trump was president? Why didn't you identify those areas that are now so important that you're willing to shut down the government over them, Kevin McCarthy? And all of the ancillary nonsense that you bring up doesn't defeat the points that when Donald Trump was in office, prior to becoming president, when he spoke to Bob Woodward with the Washington Post and said the audacious claim that he was going to pay off the entirety of the United States debt inside of 8 years, and instead jacked it up, went crazy spending, not raising enough money into the Treasury through tax cuts that, by the way, didn't sunset. They sunsetted for the middle class. They didn't sunset for the rich. It's hypocrisy and it's excuse making, and he's stumbling and bumbling and trying to find a point. And only Republicans fall for this because it's nonsense, and it's propagated, this propaganda, by right-wing media outlets. Now, getting back to the point earlier about how he is unfit to be speaker, that he's not qualified or capable of being speaker, listen. There's a lot of word salad politicians in Washington. Many come to mind. One not in Washington, maybe chief among them, is Sarah Palin. But there's a lot of them out there. George W. Bush was famous for his word salad. This sentence, I challenge you to, to explain to me in my feeble brain what the hell he is talking about. Listen to this.
I believe in hearing both perspectives, like anything else, be it business, be it in family, be it in relationships, that you can find common ground. There's nothing in there but me walking away that does not believe at the end of the day we can come to an agreement.
Did you catch that? Because I sure didn't. I have no idea what he's talking about. Let's read it again. There's nothing in there but me walking away that does not believe at the end of the day we can come to an agreement. There's nothing in there but me walking away that does not believe at the end of the day we can come to an agreement. Make it make sense. Please. It's not a rhetorical question. Please, it's not a rhetorical request. Please. Make it make sense. He's just not fit. He's not ready. I mean, we have many damaging speakers of the House over the course of the history of our country, even more modern times. Newt Gingrich comes to mind. But they were articulate. They could find a complete sentence with but one hand. And Kevin McCarthy is just incapable. And it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt America overall, because he's going to allow the inmates to run the prison. He already is letting that happen with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And while he's running over the White House to make a big to-do about his negotiation, nothing's getting done other than, some real damage that may be irreparable.